Hello and welcome the lovely Kerri Roma. Are you still Kerri Roma actually on your...
my name on TikTok's just Roma, but my name's Kerri.
Aye, no, I know, that's right, because for ages at the start everybody thought Roma was your name. Aye, right. Okay, so it is Kerri Roma back to catch up with us because it was nearly, we were just saying this, 2 whole years since you were last here and you will watch the video back. But I do vividly remember it, and the reason that I remember it is because mentally you were actually quite low at the time.
Aye, I was. Aye.
And you were sharing that. You shared.
I've always shared my feelings kind of on social media, how I'm feeling at the time, mental health. But at that point, I was just finding myself. I was obviously finding myself. I think I'd maybe just no longer bought my house.
Aye, you weren't. You were still doing it up. You hadn't even done your kitchen.
Aye, I just bought my house. I was finding myself, finding me as a person, my career, finding out where I was going, what I wanted to do, and 2 years on, we're there.
I know, and you've got your baby. Did you? I know. I put that in one of your comments. Like, you had a comment, somebody saying about the usual crap about I trapped him with a baby or whatever, and I'm like, this has been Kerri's. That was your plan all along. And you said that like you're just living your dream now.
I've always said, thank you. We get on. No, I've always said that like because I've made the mistake of being in relationships or seeing people in the past and getting a bit deeper into that and then realising that they didn't have the same plan as me going forward. So when I met Nathan, I says to him, like, when I realised he was actually starting to like me and I was starting to like him, I told him, by the way, just so you know, because he's got 2 girls and I've got Tyler, I went, just so you know,
to be 3 girls.
I know poor guy. I says to him, I went, just so you know, I was like, I do have plans for the future and my plans won't change, so I need to make you aware of them. And I told him, and people are grasping to that just now, because he didn't want a kid when I first met him.
Right. I think I saw your video saying that, and I think I vaguely remember him saying that, but somebody saying back then, I'm not ready for a kid. Like, so he is ready. You know what I mean?
He says. He was like, right now, he was like, I'm not ready for any kids. And I was like, no, that's fine. I was like, my plan is to make like wait about a year and then make my decision on, because I was going to a clinic for it. I think I said that to you the last time.
You were doing it.
I was doing it regardless, and I'm going to make him aware of that because I don't see why my plans should have changed because of that, you know. And then about 5 months into a relationship, he was like, no, like, obviously that's when the love starts to happen, doesn't it? And that's when he says to me, no, like, understand that you were going to go to a clinic, but I would rather you didn't. I'd rather the baby was with me. Not ready right now, but let's can you revisit it in 6 months, 7 months time, and we did. And both of us were on the same wavelength. Both of us happy.
I know, and I remember you posting at the start of the year as well, like, I'm going to be trying. And because you had, I'm sure you had you were asking hormonal questions at the time. You were concerned about your hormones.
I had high prolactin levels, so I've always had kind of issues with my chest, with lumps, bumps, going to oncology clinics to get them biopsied and things like that. I'm actually getting mammograms at 35 because I'm high risk. So I've always had kind of issues with my chest, but then I started leaking milk. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, how is this happening? I went to the doctors, I done my levels, and they were borderline, but the NHS's levels are always kind of touch and go. So I went private and I got it done privately. And it came back that my prolactin levels were above average, and that can cause problems with fertility. And that's why my chest was leaking milk. Not because I was pregnant or anything, just because I had these levels. So I was advised, it can affect fertility. So, if you want to try and get pregnant, maybe, come off your contraception, because with the NHS, you're up to 2 years trying before they'll do anything. And I didn't want to wait 2 years. I had my plans. So came off contraception and fell pregnant instantly. So
and you did not expect that?
Nope, you did not. I was actually shocked. Like, when I phoned Nathan, I was like, I'm feeling really bloated and I didn't feel well. And he was like, what are you trying to say? And I went, I'm going to get a test. And I was heading down to Manchester that day. And he was like, right, go get a test, phone me. And I went, do you want me to do it and then phone you, or do you want me to come down? He went, no. He was like, I can tell you're stressed. Just do the test. And I was running green on the phone. He was like, why are you crying? You're happy. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't expect it. But I think it's just, it was just about everything.
Right, so, well. I know, you can
so
tell
good.
that. I mean, you're a match made in heaven. I messaged you as soon as you exposed him on social media, and I was like, you're so
I mean, he's got his faults, but so have I.
No, haven't we all? But anyway, I went to River and I want to take it right back, because I remember, Kerri, you were taking your dad skydiving.
I went to Portugal.
And I remember all of that. And then, so I just made the connection, turns out it's right,
Aye.
anyway, because he is the skydiving guy. But, so you never actually came right out and said that I saw how you met him and how it started with the whole skydiving.
I kept it kind of quiet. As much as, like we were saying earlier, people on the internet seem to think they know my life. I have a lot of stuff they don't know anything about, and they never knew about Nathan for a couple of months, I think it was. I was getting used to it. I wanted to get used to my relationship with him before introducing up my social media, especially my social media.
Yeah.
People are craving a downfall. But I actually met him at a funeral.
No.
So
you did.
He's a skydiver.
So that's all coincidence.
No. So my
right.
dad, right, obviously he's skydived for 19 years. He's just done his 1,000th jump.
I saw that.
Buzzing.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Dad. But so he's a skydiver, and he's known Nathan for 8 years before me. But my dad always called him Joe, right? So he would be like that to me, oh, my pal Joe, and I just assumed Joe was this older skydiving man. And then unfortunately, over a year ago now, my dad's best friend passed away, who was also a skydiver. He was like an uncle to me, amazing man. And we went to his funeral. So when I got out the car at the funeral, which was down in the Borders, got out the car, and this guy just starts walking towards me, and he's like, hello, darling. And I looked at him, I was like, who's that? Like,
did you immediately fancy him?
Immediately I was like, it was more like curious. Like, oh, who's that? And then my dad's like, that's Joe. And I was like, that's Joe. Like, Joe's no 60. Joe's like young. And he came up and he was like, hi, my name's Nathan. And then obviously it was a funeral, so we kind of went our separate ways, but he was always beside my dad's because they were like friends. And then we went to the wake, and he literally sat and chatted to me the entire time we were at the wake. And he'll say that I was the one that instigated it, because he says, oh, I'm from Manchester. And I went, oh, I used to see a guy from Manchester. And he says, that was you fishing. That was you telling me that you would come down. And we just chatted away at the wake, and then nothing afterwards. I went to Portugal, I done my skydiving course, and the day that I qualified, he messaged me on Facebook and said to me, congratulations on qualifying, your dad will be so proud of you. And then we just didn't stop speaking. From that minute onwards, we did not. 2 weeks later, he phoned me and he was like, I'm just pre-warning you, I'm going to message your dad. I hadn't told my dad I'd been speaking to him, and I was like, why?
But were you, right, so the young team calls speaking a different thing. Were you just
chatting?
Right, so it wasn't
we hadn't met up.
Speaking to him?
No, we hadn't met up. We were literally texting each other, phone calls. And I was quite naive. I genuinely, as much as I was like, this guy is like, you know, I find him quite hot, and I like his chat, like he makes me laugh, but I didn't think for a second he felt the same way, so I just didn't instigate at him. And then he phoned and he was like, I'm starting to get feelings for you, basically. I'm going to speak to your dad. I need to make him aware that I'm chatting to you, and I would love to take you on a date, and I have to get his blessing. And I was like, oh my God. No, but like, if you know my dad, I was like, oh no, it's going to hurt him. And he did. He messaged my dad, and it's just got from strength to strength to strength from there.
So he was your dad's pal to begin with? I did not see that coming. I just thought he must have been one of the skydiving instructors. So was he involved in, because remember, he was involved in teaching you to skydive?
No, I went to Portugal to learn to skydive.
Right.
But when I came back, I've jumped with him loads, obviously.
I've seen that.
But I know he's, obviously I'm up there at the skydive centre with him because we're a couple now, but before that, no, we didn't jump together. He didn't take in to do it, but he was, the only reason that we knew each other was because of my dad and the skydiving.
And then going to that funeral.
I know.
Which is a sad
situation. The best about it, right, my
dad's
dad's pal that passed away, he would be pissing himself. He would honestly be like proper getting at my dad for this, because Nathan's an absolute riot, and he'd be going, oh, look what you've got your daughter in, and he'd be absolutely poorless.
He does look good fun though, but he does look like a crazy horse as well.
Oh, he's wild. He jumps off buildings. He's just not right in the head.
But
absolutely
that's perfect
right in the head.
for me, I would say.
I'm stressed right now, but
what did your dad say when Nathan got in touch? Well, what did your dad say to you? Tell us that.
My mum actually videoed it, because I said to my mum, I was panicking, because I was like, oh no, he's going to say it on the day. So I phoned my mum, I was like, I've got something I need to tell you. And she was like, what is it? And I went, oh, I've actually been speaking to Nathan. And she went, oh right. And I went, he's going to message dad. So I text my mum, like, when Nathan says, like, I've sent the message. And my mum was like pissing herself laughing, so she recorded them, and my dad's just literally standing there going, I mean, she's in her 30s, she can do what she wants. But he was worried. My dad was obviously worried that that's his pal. He didn't want any kind of atmosphere if something was to go wrong, if it didn't work. He didn't want me just being like a wee, because obviously he's my dad, he's going to think about it that way, like, oh, is this just a phase? Is he just trying to get with my daughter, like, to say, oh, he's got... But it wasn't, like, I don't think, Nathan, he's got really good morals, and that's what I really like him, an amazing dad and good morals, and he doesn't seem the type just to be, oh, I could get that. Do you know what I mean? He's probably been a bit of a lad in the past, but like with me, he's just been a bit respectful. And my dad knows that he's a good dad. He knows that he's a good person, so he's never been worried about that side of it with me. And my dad actually took it really well. He's the only boyfriend my dad's got him with. The only one.
I would think so. If it was your dad's pal anyway. I never expected that. That's a brilliant story. So Nathan is a dad. And what about introducing, because you see the wee girls, what are they called again? What's
Grace
their name?
and Evie.
Aye. And Evie's wee toady thing.
She's just turned 4. She was 4 in February, but she's like, she looks about 2. She's
she's
small.
Tiny.
She's so small.
So
the attitude of a 16-year-old. She's proper diva.
Standard, that is standard. So what was that like for you, getting introduced to the girls?
So it was, obviously I introduced him to Tyler as well, and it was
I was going to ask that now.
Tyler's never been introduced to anybody.
Oh really?
Doesn't matter. I seen a guy for a year and a half
and
never met Tyler. I'm just very protective, and I think if you don't know that person's going to be, you know, forever or at least long term, why would you introduce your kids to them? So Nathan, he's, like I said, he's a really good dad. He has his girls every weekend, and obviously like there's times now where we're doing something, so he maybe got them every second weekend, but most of the time every weekend he's got his girls. So I knew pretty quickly that I would meet the girls quickly. We either don't see each other or the kids are going to be there. So
is the oldest girl the same age as Tyler?
She's 13, she's a year above.
Right, okay.
Oh, she's such an amazing wee thing. So I knew I was going to meet them a lot sooner than he was going to meet Tyler. But believe it or not, he'd met Tyler. He's met Tyler 5 or 6 times before.
With your dad?
Aye. But Tyler used to talk about him, throwing him about the skydive centre, and obviously I didn't click. But when I met his girls, I was so nervous because obviously one of them's ages with Tyler and the other one was little, and I thought I was going to have the issue with the big one, being like, all right, she's a teenager, she's maybe going to be a bit more, but it was the opposite. Wee Evie was the one that was a bit more cautious, but I literally took down sweeties and like wee gifts, because I didn't want to be introduced as like, oh, this is like stepmom, like I hate that. And I didn't want to be introduced as like daddy's girlfriend. I just wanted to be Kerri. So like we met at the skydive centre, so it was like kind of platonic ground where, you know, they could go and do what they wanted, and we didn't have to be like in each other's space constantly. But for the minute I met them, like Evie in particular was just like clung to me.
You can see that. You can see that she's taking a shine to you straight away.
And Grace she's just an absolute angel. She's what I would love my wee girl to be like. Like, she's just so chilled, relaxed, she's respectful, just a nice wee girl. And I've been very blessed having such a easily blended family, because I know it can be difficult for families when they meet, particularly teenagers and stuff like that, but the girls they've made it easy for me. And obviously Tyler's an absolute angel as well, and he's made it easy for Nathan.
I seen that, and I saw one, I don't know if it was a story or a video, where they were playing rock, paper, scissors, and it was just so funny the way they were letting each other hit each other.
Grace and Tyler,
which is amazing for teenagers.
I was worried, because I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna, what if they fancy each other, right?
Well, what if they do?
They're gonna have a wee brother or sister that's each other's brother or sister. But I was proper panicky about that, but honestly, like, they'll be racing and Taylor will grab her and pull her back. I'm like, there's no fancying going on here at all. They're like wee siblings, like, they genuinely they get on so well.
It'll always be like that.
But honestly, I'm really grateful for it, because I know it doesn't always work out like that, but I've got such a great wee blended family, and they all love each other to bits. And Nathan's family, his sisters are fantastic, his mum, he's like, they're just all amazing, and then obviously he's got that with my side as well. And I never expected that. Never expected to have such a
perfectly blended, imperfect family.
Very imperfect, because it's a bit all over the place, but it works for us. You know what I mean? And I know, I'm very happy.
There's very few. I'll put put your window down.
It's
getting hot now. It was absolutely sweltering.
It was thunder and lightning earlier.
I know. So, so Tyler, what about when you said to him? So you knew him anyway, but what about the actual, like, saying to Tyler?
See, to be honest with you, I can't really remember. I think I know that I didn't just go say, baby, I'm talking to this guy. I've always been very open with Tyler. He's been aware that I've spoke to people in the past. He's just never met them. He's never spoke to them. He's never met them. So when I started chatting to Nathan, I didn't ever hide it for Tyler, because I'm very much I'm all for a open relationship. I need him to know what's going on, and I want him to feel the same with me, and it's worked so far. So I was never hiding Nathan. I'd be like, oh, it's just Nathan on the phone, and when it got to the point he was meeting him, I can't remember. I think he came up to me, and we went out and we done something. But it just shows that it was that natural that I can't remember the big moment that it happened. But it's never been. Taylor was obviously a bit more shy when he first kind of got to meet him and got used to him. But see now they're like. Him and Taylor are fighting constantly. Like I walk into the living room and I'm stepping over them. But no, it just happened really naturally, and I didn't do it straight away. I did wait a couple of months before, about a month and a half actually, before he met Tyler.
But he'd already met him anyway, so all you were doing was making it official.
I think it was more the fact that I'd met him in the past, but I'd met him as Gaz's friend. He hadn't met him
Joe.
as Joe. This is Joe. He hadn't met him as in somebody that has an impact on his life, if that makes sense. And that was always a worry to me. Like, I always worry that my worry before and why I didn't introduce Tyler was because probably I never ever felt that I was going to go any further with these people. But on top of it, if Tyler gets, as a mum you'll know this, if Tyler gets attached to somebody, and he's very attached to Nathan, he absolutely loves him, and it terrifies me that I break my heart but break my son's heart as well. And it was just it was finding the right person to trust that way. And I trust him fully. He loves my son. Like, I can tell that he loves them, and he loves my family, my niece and my nephew. He loves them all, and I trust him. So you have to go out there someday. And I think when I met you that first time, I was so hell bent on how much I hated men. Like, I hated men. I hated what they'd put me through. I'd been through so much shit with guys that probably my fault as well. I let them do it to me. I let it happen, and I just didn't trust him. And then I met him, and he'll be the first to say that I have got trust issues. I'm probably quite difficult, and my mind goes over little things, like the slightest change in my routine.
That'll be hard being long distance as well. We've not said that.
No, it's actually not, right?
No, not the relationship being hard, but your trust issues. So you must start to go over that.
Do you know what? Right, he made it easy.
Right.
Like, he knows what I've been through. I know what he's been. I've never been the type that's the blame game. I've never been like, he done this, he done that. I've always been like, well, I was probably quite difficult, and so I've never been like the blame game. But he knows stuff that's happened in the past with relationships, and you know, the stuff that breaks the trust. And he's always been the type, like, if he's out with his pals, he'll be messaging and he'll know just bugger off for a night out, like some of the guys that I used to see would be. And I'll hear from the next again day. He's always letting me know what he's up to, as do I with him. And there's never been a point where I've been like, oh no, he's up to something. And didn't get me wrong, like, there'll be times my mind, and I have to remind myself, like, Nathan isn't your exes. And see if I was to phone him right now and say, I'm having a moment, where are you, what you up to? He'll be like, I'm at work and I'll say my phone. Like, genuinely, like, he's so good. And people always say to me, like, oh, you'll find somebody. I'm like, nah, there's no guys like that, there's no guys. And then I found him when I least expected it. Do you know what I mean? So the trust thing's never been an issue. Didn't get me wrong, there's times, like, particularly now that I'm pregnant, I'm feeling really needy. And I see him so much. Like, I see him more than some of my friends whose partners work offshore. But there's times where I'm like, I just really want you. Like, when my granny was really unwell, I just needed him there. And I came home one day and he was sitting in my bed with a bunch of flowers and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's really thoughtful that way, and he makes it easy to trust him. He makes it easy not to be having those horrible thoughts. And he's just lovely.
Perfect.
Like, he is.
Perfect.
Oh, I mean, he's not perfect. He's a
no, but he's
but he is a good boy. And he does
everything
everything that previous partners haven't done.
Aye.
To reassure me and make me feel good. Even
so
now.
the whole, you can see that it comes across in the
screen.
screen.
It's like a bloody rash. Like, he's that's on the screen. He's calmed down on the screen, but see off it, my dad says that, like, can you just leave it alone? Like a rash. He's constantly at me. I love it. But
that's what he's like. How do you cope? I've had loads of questions there. I was thinking, how do you cope as, like, a blended family at this sort of new stage of being that blended family with one of the kids? Because I know as a parent, they have their tantrums, and you know, you get fights and all of that kind of thing. How do you navigate that as a blended family?
So me and him were actually speaking about this before, because obviously it's prior to being pregnant, I've always felt, right, that it is your job to discipline your girls. It's not my responsibility to discipline them. And it's my responsibility to discipline Tyler and keep him safe and on the right path. we've got a kid coming into the world now together, which means our parenting styles have to coincide, because we're about to raise a child together. As much as Tyler's mine and the girls are his, we need to have it together. So now he has an input into Tyler, and you know how he's raised, and he's not discipline him, because we don't discipline. Like I wouldn't say I would like discipline his kids or discipline Tyler for that matter. Like we've got quite a good relationship that way, and good kids that we don't have to, but we do have an input into each other's parenting and decisions that are made when we're with each other. Obviously the girls have their mum and Tyler has his dad, and they have their own kind of responsibilities, but when we're together as a whole, we are a team for it now.
So you're sharing the navigation
you have
of
to.
it all.
When we're together, obviously, it's nothing to do with me what the girls' mums choose to do. It's just like it's nothing to do with Nathan what Tyler's dad chooses to do when he's got him. But I give Tyler's dad's girlfriend the responsibility of, you know, being the disciplinarian for Tyler when he's there as well, because at the end of the day they've got little kids. So we take it together. Like don't get me wrong, like I don't shout at Tyler and I wouldn't shout at his girls, but like if they do something wrong, like I'll correct it. Like Grace is just fantastic, like genuinely she doesn't do nothing wrong. If he's little, she's only learning, do you know what I mean? She's learning new things. So sometimes you have to be like, oh no, like particularly now that I'm pregnant, she just wants to jump, and I'm like, no, like we need to chill a wee bit. And I think it's just doing it respectfully and remembering that, you know, you are an additional. I'm not a parent to them, but I'm there by choice. You know, I'm an additional part of their life that does have an impact. And
I know I want to just touch on this because people will probably think it. So I'm not asking it because I want to know, but I just want to acknowledge the fact that there are other parents out with this set up as well. Is that all going okay? Tyler's dad, the girls' mums, whatever, you manage it?
So obviously the girls have two different mums. And obviously I'm just touching it, it's not something that
that's why I'm
there's no any issues on any part of it. Tyler's dad, there's no issues with Tyler's dad. I think obviously Tyler's dad had a partner prior to me having a partner, and it is, in my opinion, and I think in their opinions as well, as long as the person that you're bringing into your child's life is treating them with respect and not treating them any differently towards their own kids. Like I would hate to think that Nathan would treat Tyler different from his girls, and he doesn't, and I would never treat his girls different to what I treat Tyler. And as long as I'm respectful and don't overstep boundaries, I don't see why it's ever an issue, and I've not had an issue. So I know it's totally fine. I actually got on well with Grace. I'm going to Gracie's mum's wedding.
That's good. That's what I mean. It's nice to hear that, because with blended families,
it can be
the best
awkward.
thing. It can be, but it works out so much better and easier when the child is the focal point. And I'm not saying that they're spoiled, because you've already touched that. It's just that they are the focal point.
That's the problem though, because people forget there's children involved. And I fully believe that kids should not know or be part of any dramas that's going on with their parents. As far as they're concerned, and this is what I've been with Tyler since me and his dad split up. Tyler doesn't need to know the dramas. He doesn't need to know that. That's not his responsibility. It's not his role in any of this. His role is that he's got a dad and he's got a mum, and that's the way it should be. So if there were to be issues that arise, which hopefully it never does, the kids will never know any of that anyway. Do you know what I mean? They should just know that everything's hunky-dory.
So the long distance part then, Kerri, I know you have touched this, and I know there'll be stuff that you'll be repeating that you have said on your social media, but for the purpose of everybody that hasn't seen it all, what about the long distance aspect of it all then? So Nathan is in Manchester, which by the way is only, like, for me that's well travelled, like I don't think that's that big a deal. It's just down the M6.
It's not far at all. Don't get me wrong, it's getting a bit more difficult, uncomfortable. But no, do you know, we spoke about this from the get-go. Like, one of the first things I said to Nathan, as well as, you know, my plans for the future, is I will not be moving to Manchester. You need to be aware that it's no, like, Nathan sees his girls every weekend, but I have Tyler every day, and I won't, because if I was to move, I have to up and move Tyler, and I made him aware that that's not what I'll be doing. And it was one of these things, like, we'll see how it goes, and right now it's working perfectly fine the way it is. I see Nathan, like I said earlier, more than my friends see their partners that are offshore.
And you've got experience of that in the past as well.
This is so much different.
I remember you saying that before.
The person that I've seen in the past, it was nothing like this. God, there was no, it was just nothing like this. There was no, it didn't even feel like a relationship when I think about it. But I see Nathan more than people whose friends, partners work offshore or who are in the army. God, one of my friends, her partner's away for 5 weeks and he's only back for 3. And I've got the benefit of when I see Nathan, it is solely me and Nathan and the girls and Tyler. Like, we have every minute of the day for the Thursday to Sunday, Friday to Sunday, Friday to Monday, however long we see each other, and it's amazing. And that's how it's going to continue for the first wee while of the baby being here. He's obviously going to be up when the baby comes for like the first month or so, getting used to everything. But I just look at it in the sense that he works away. My dad worked away most of my childhood, and it didn't make it any different. And in actual fact, when Nathan's up, unlike dads that even live here, like I know when Tyler was younger, his dad would get up in the morning, roughly as the time Tyler was getting up, and he'd go to work. I'd have Tyler all day, he'd go home at 6, half 6 at night. You'd see Tyler for half an hour, Tyler would go to bed. Where's the bonding? Do you know what I mean? Whereas with Nathan, when he comes up, he's going to be there from morning till night. He's going to be there through the feeds at night for 3-4 days a week. And then he's going to go down and be away for 3-4 days a week. Do you know what I mean? Depends on what it is. And he'll have the bonding with the kid, because everybody, all these trolls, and they say, oh, we think about the kid. They don't have to think about my kid. It's not their responsibility to think about my kid, right? You don't have to worry.
But it's just anything, Kerri. It's anything they can think of that they can get.
Do you know, in the future, he is going to be here. But he's got a job down there. He's got his own little company, so he can't just up and move that. It's not how it works. And
he does the skydiving shop, doesn't he?
We've got the shop as well, but he renovates houses. His mum, so he does all that stuff. He works alongside his family, but he renovates the houses and does all the repairs and that on the houses down there. So he's got a great stability down there, and these girls are down there. The difference with a man is, obviously, he sees his girls every weekend, and that wouldn't change if he lived up here. So we would go down and we'd have the girls Friday to Sunday, like we already do have them. That would never, because people are like, oh, if he moves, it'll impact their life. How? Because he sees them at the weekend anyway, and we'll still see them at the weekend.
But it's that whole thing to me, and I was thinking about this before I came to see you, society, you know, having these, what life should be.
And what they think life should be.
And I'm thinking, that's fucking ideal. What you've got.
Right. See these people that have got stuff to say about it, right? And I have to laugh at them, because I think to myself, I would love to be a fly on the wall in your relationship, because I guarantee, right, you're sitting here telling me what I should be doing with my relationship. I'd love to see how well yours is going, because I can guarantee it isn't. Like, I'm doing fine, I'm happy, I've got no concerns about bringing a baby into the world with Nathan living there, none whatsoever. My baby's going to be loved, he's got this massive family, so she's going to have the benefit, be down there, being up here, she's going to be, you know what I mean? Like,
so much experience, life experience. And as I said, because I had commented on one of your videos saying, I did the podcast with Kerri in November, and she 2 years ago, and she said exactly this is what she was going to do with her life.
Never kept it secret.
As you said though, the only difference is, rather than going to a clinic, you've met somebody that is happy and wants a baby and gives you that dream that you had.
I think people see it, people like to take parts, and obviously they've seen that there was a video and I was like, Nathan, and I was honest. I don't have any reason not to be honest. Nathan wasn't ready for a baby when I first met him, because he wasn't. We just met each other. I wasn't ready for a baby with him. I knew I wanted a baby, but I didn't say I want a baby with you. And people are saying, oh, he wasn't ready for a baby. And it's a year and a half later. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had a full relationship with each other, a full thing. Like, why are people concerned? Why are people concerned about?
I don't even think they are concerned. I just think it's a way of life. It's just a way of life for these people.
Get their 20 pence in.
So see, what was I going to? Your house, right? So you're staying where you are in Bowness. Everybody knows you live there. You've got your support network there. Your mum, your dad, your sister, and whatever as well. And you've talked about further renovations in your house. So what's your plans?
So when I bought that house, obviously I was thinking, me and Tyler, possibly in our baby in the future, thinking about the clinic. So it's a 2-bedroom house. We are renovating the loft right now.
Are you doing that
now?
Yeah,
so the loft, it starts in September. So we're doing the loft, that's going to be Tyler's room, so he's going to have the full top floor of the loft. That'll be his bedroom. Tyler's bedroom will be for the baby, and then my bedroom, mine's. We've obviously got the girls that come down, so... But the girls, because we meet in the middle, because we're at the skydiving every weekend.
Where is the skydiving?
Lake District.
So it's in the middle.
So because we're there at the weekend, we've got like our own little spot there, we've got a caravan and all that, so we're down
have
there.
you? That's amazing.
Because we've got the shop there, we've got our own area, we've got our own park.
Is that where the shop is as well?
In the skydive
Right.
centre. So we're not always at his, we're not always at mine. So right now it doesn't seem feasible for me to go and buy a 5-bedroom house, especially with the kind of thought process of Tyler is a teenager basically. And I know what I was like at his age. I'm not going to be wanting to sit in the house at the weekends. I'll be out, he'll be out. Nathan's eldest is a teenager, and she has slowly got more plans at the weekends and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go and buy a big 5-bedroom house just now when the rooms are going to sit empty. I've got the benefit of my mum living across the road, so if Tyler wants to, he goes and stays over there when the girls are here. But right now it works. The girls stay in Tyler's room when he's here. He's got the big recliner couch. He'll go into that for a couple of nights. But when the baby's here, all that we're going to do, I think, is just get like a sofa bed in the nursery.
And just do what all
We're
families
just going to make do.
So is it December? The baby's
So I'm due December the 11th, but Tyler, no, I'm not
Christmas
saying that it's going to happen, but Tyler was 4 weeks, 5 days early.
So
So the midwife had said on my first visit that because he was so early, it being my first baby, that sometimes kind of not coincides in being that early, but the second doesn't always go full term as well. So could be November, could be December.
Lola was due Christmas Day and arrived on the 23rd, but I was thinking about that as well. A Christmas baby is lovely.
No,
It is.
no,
Nice.
I'm the opposite. I'm actually devastated, right? Because obviously we'd planned to have a baby. And my plan was to fall pregnant roughly about the time we were coming back our holidays. But it happened 3 months before that. So I really should have been having a baby March time. But instead I'm having a baby
When does
December.
anything go to plan like that?
I know,
though,
I know.
And Tammy's getting married
She's
as
married
well.
next year.
So with the baby, right. So the
Baby
baby will
will
be
be about
here
6 months
for
old for our wedding.
Because I knew that was something you were trying to factor in.
We were trying to factor it in because I didn't add nothing against people that are having kids 35, 36, 37, 38. Nothing wrong with that at all. My plan was not for that to happen. I wanted to have my second within a time frame that Tyler wasn't too old, and I wanted to have my baby here by the time I was 35. Hence the reason I had this time frame that I had. And then obviously Tammy's wedding as well is next year, and I didn't want to be freshly breastfeeding, fresh postpartum tummy. I wanted to give myself a bit of time, so
it's worked out perfect.
Aye, 6 months I've got to sort myself
ideal.
out, get back in my bridesmaid dress.
Right enough. So you'll not be able to go for any fittings till after the baby.
So I've got my dress.
Oh, have you?
I've got the dress. I just need
So you need to get back in.
I hope that I'm alright. But to be fair, I've actually
you're
done really
smart.
well. I've not put weight on anywhere bar my chest and my belly. So everything else, and my weight is maintained as in just the baby weight that's been added. So I'm quite happy with that. But I've not had sweet cravings. I've not had with Tyler. I could have ate 24/7. But with this baby, I've got HG. So.
Have you? I had that.
I was in hospital on that way. It's horrific, and I just.
were you? Did you share that? I never saw that. If you did.
I've been sharing my journey with HG, but I don't think I shared that I was in hospital. They didn't know everything that goes on in my life. But no, I ended up in hospital, got fluids and all that. I just couldn't stop being sick, and then I started to get really faint, and I just couldn't keep anything down. Well, I started taking. They gave me medication to take, so I was taking my medication, my antiemetics, and then I stopped taking them about 2 weeks ago now, because I thought, I'm far on now, I'll be good. And then the nauseas came back, so I'm back taking them again. I
had it the entire time as well. I never took the medication though, but I think I know I should have done it because
I would literally walk into my house and be like, try to feed the cats. I was retching as I was feeding the cats.
I used to open the fridge, and the smell of the fridge would give me the bolt.
Fridge is a bad one.
And I remember driving up the motorway, and because it's not really that safe to pull over to be sick, although maybe I should have. But anyway, spewing in a bag. It's brutal.
I was outside Tyler's school, taking him to school, and I was like gagging as I'm going to school, and then outside Tyler's school, spewing on the floor, and I'm like, God's sake. People didn't know I was pregnant though at this point, so I'm like, people are going to think I've been drink the night before. But I know it's not as bad now that I'm taking the tablets. I've not let it get back to the point because it was really bad. But I've not let it get back to that point. I've kind of maintained it. And I'll just.
And you're going for extra scans?
So I went for a reassurance scan right at the start because with this one, right, because Tyler wasn't planned. Tyler just came, and I was young. I was 22 when I had Tyler, and I had no worries. Like, there was no worries whatsoever. I was just like, this baby will come, it'll be healthy, it'll be great, fine and dandy. Whereas with this one, because it's been planned and I've wanted it and everything just seems to be going too well, I panicked. So I got a reassurance scan right at the start, which wasn't reassuring in the slightest because I was that early, the baby didn't have a heartbeat. So we had to then wait another, because I found it when I was 3 weeks pregnant. So then we had to wait another 3 weeks to go back.
You got up to high though.
And then we got a heartbeat. And then obviously I had my NHS, so I've had 2 scans for the NHS, and we had a gender scan, which was amazing. And
I saw that, I cried at that video. Just like I cried at the Moses basket video as well.
I'd convinced myself I was having a boy, which wouldn't have been a problem. I was totally happy having another boy because I've raised one and he's a darling. But I'd convinced that much I'd got my nails painted blue, right? And then we went for the scan and we found out it was a wee girl, and it made me realise that I'd obviously been hoping for a wee girl because I was just in bits. But we're going to have another scan when the baby's like 28 weeks, so next month. We'll have another scan just so we could, like a 4D scan, because we've done the 4D scan on that gender scan, and oh my god, it was terrifying. Like the child looked terrifying.
Just too early.
I was like,
really,
we'll keep that one away. It's just like a skeleton thing. But she says about 26 to 28 weeks that they get chubby, so
you'll get that.
We'll get the nice
to see her. And you've got a name. You've not to tell us. I know that. No, that's not what I said. But you have got a name.
We've got the baby's name.
And it's a dual.
It's actually a boy's name.
Oh, right.
So the name's a boy's name. I've seen one wee girl with the name, but it is a boy's name. We had names, like I loved the name Lottie, but Nathan just doesn't sound right saying it because he's English. And we had the name Ren as well for a wee girl, but he just doesn't sound right. And he was saying it, he was stroking my belly, and I was like, oh no, stop saying that. So when we were going through it, and obviously we found out it was a girl, and I'd said the girl name that's kind of similar to the name that we were going with, and it just, I wasn't loving it. And he was like, I like this name, and I went, I like it as well. And he was like, do we just go for it? And I was like, you know what, fuck it, and I do. It's a nice name, I like it. And
so she's got her name, and
she's got her name. She's got her name.
It's cute.
It's exciting. I've started getting personalised stuff.
You're getting loads of stuff already. I was going to say about that, but I wanted to ask you about like mental health now as well. Obviously your life has completely changed, and I do want to ask you about your business as well. I want to get that in,
God, there's so much.
Because that's to do with the future. I know, we need to get that. It's so important. But the mental health for you now, because you were quite open about that at the time.
Yeah.
You weren't in a really dark place or anything like that, but you weren't feeling
struggling.
that great.
I know. To be fair, I was in a dark place. I wasn't in a good place. I was really struggling. Just like, if you've been through it, then you'll understand that when stuff changes so dramatically. I was in a long-term relationship, and then everything just changed, and I was getting used to life on my own, and I just couldn't see. Obviously social media had started to take off for me, which was great, but I couldn't see my end path, and that's a really hard thing to take for somebody when they just don't know where their life's going to go, what's going to happen, where it's going to go, and where you're going to end up. And my mental health was in a really bad place. I'd went from leaving a long-term relationship to getting into another relationship that, to be quite frank, he was an asshole. And now that I'm out of that, really, I blamed myself for so much stuff, but now that I'm out of it, I think, no, do you know what, you were a fucking asshole. And going through that, it really put me in a bad place. I gave myself the time that I needed, and that's the advice that I could give anybody, right? Take the time to yourself. Let yourself feel the feelings that you go through. I let myself feel all this, upset and worry and stress. Let yourself feel like that, but still actively try. And that's what I've done. I let myself feel it, but I still pushed myself to do more. And it's benefited me. I've met somebody that treats me like an absolute queen. He's amazing. My life's now on a better track, and because I'm now in a good relationship and I can see where my life's starting to go, and I've got my plans for things, my mental health is 10 times worse. 10 times better. Don't get me wrong, I still have my moments. I 100% do, but I deal with them a lot better now than I did back then. Now I can say, right, okay, I can see what's triggering me, I can see what's upsetting me, I can see that I can feel the down coming, and see when the down comes, I take the down. Where before I'd fight it, I'd be like, no, like I'm fine. Where now I'm like, no, do you know what, right? I'm going to give myself a day. I'm going to lie in my bed, I'm going to eat chipsticks and garlic dip, and I'm going to watch Vampire Diaries all day, and I'm going to give myself a day, but see the next day I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to work and I'm going to do what I have to do. Give yourself the day. And it worked for me, it benefited me, and it's made me a better person, my mindset a lot better.
You actually said that the last time, so even although your mental health is much better, you still stand by and live by that whole practice of when you're feeling crap.
Feel crap, feel it. You're not going to benefit yourself. See, when people try and hide it, this is why and this isn't in all cases obviously, but this is why people end up, not put a downer on things, but people end up in such a bad place, they remove themselves from life. Do you know what I mean? And I'll never get to that point. I've got a family, I've got stability, I've got people that I need to, that rely on me. And I think if you embrace it and let yourself feel it, but didn't feel sorry for yourself. Didn't need to feel sorry for yourself. There's always going to be somebody in the world that's worse off, but there's always going to be somebody that's better than you. Give yourself that, ride the wave, take it. Like, if you're feeling like crap, acknowledge that you're feeling like crap, see where that's coming from, see where it's stemming from. If you can fix that, and if it's in your control, fix it. If you can, because you can't fix everything in life. You've not got the control of everybody else. If you can't control it, give yourself the day, see what you can do to kind of make yourself feel better, but the next day pick yourself up and continue. Because there was a point where I got myself into a rut where that one day turned into a week, and then I'd look at my house and the house would just be a riot. There'd be clothes all over the floor, the washing wouldn't be done, and it would just build up, which makes you feel worse. So I'm all for now, give yourself the day, let yourself feel that, but the next day pick yourself up, make a list and do what you have to do.
And you're doing so much better now because you've got all your plans. And
as well, I think being pregnant, like I didn't ever think about stuff like this with Tyler, but see, being pregnant, I'm like, this baby feels everything that I'm feeling, probably amplified, because it's just this teeny wee thing inside me, and I didn't want my baby to feel stress or anxiety or worry. I want my baby to be comfortable in there and happy. And so now when I'm like having stressful moments, because I had a really bad week 2 weeks ago now, and I spoke about it on social media. I didn't speak about what was going on because it was like kind of family stuff and then stuff in my mind, but I didn't really speak about it. But I was hitting a bad one, and then having to pull myself out of that and get myself back onto track. I think if I wasn't pregnant, I probably would have been back how I used to be. Whereas now I'm like, no, I need to focus. I need to get myself better, and I did.
And you were fine.
I'm fine now.
So, looking at the future now then, because I do want to get this in. Back when we spoke before, I don't even think you talked about aesthetics. I don't think that was a plan back then.
So it's always been a plan. When I done my nursing, when I first done my nursing, I said I'd love to get into aesthetics. But then when I started nursing, I loved nursing that much, so I couldn't see myself taking myself out of nursing to go invest somewhere else.
Do you still do the shift to keep your, you have to do...
Just don't really talk about it on social media. I'm still very much a nurse. I'm a prescriber now as well, so like I've took the level above as well. I just don't talk about it on social media because quite frankly people are fannies and they just kind of keep themselves to themselves, so I just don't really talk about it that much anymore. But yeah, no, I'm still a nurse, and I still have my hours that I need to do, but the aesthetics took a back step when I became a nurse because I was like, I love it, I love nursing, and I didn't really have time to go away and build a business on top of working, because you're doing 3 and 4 12-hour shifts a week and then try to be a mum. And then when my life became a bit more, without sounding a bit more privileged, where I could take the time away from nursing and focus on other stuff, I had the time to then build a business. And I was very lucky to be put in contact with Hayley and Lorraine through Lanarkshire Aesthetics in Bells Hill. Recommend them fully, they're amazing. I was very privileged to be put in touch with them, and they put me through, I went through their full aesthetic course with them, continue to work alongside them. They're fantastic, and I've been very blessed to be able to build a business while still running a business, while still being a nurse. And I know not everybody's got that, that leeway to do stuff like that, but I was in a good place where I could do it, so I did. Something that I wanted to do, and I love it. I love doing it. I've just opened up my own clinic. I'm just waiting on the registration come in.
Where is it? Where is your clinic?
It's in Falkirk. So I've bought the clinic. I'm just waiting on the registration happening, but I'm working. I don't talk about it that much just now because I feel like I'm like a broken record where I'm waiting on my registration. I'm waiting on the registration coming soon. Like,
but you need to use your social media to promote your business. I
will when it's so like, see when I've got my place, when I'm set,
you're ready.
Then I will. Like I have been, and I've got great clientele. I've got amazing people that come in to see me, but I just don't push it as much just now because I didn't want to be that broken record. Oh, well, I'm based here, but I will be based here. Do you know, I didn't want that. And once I'm set, hopefully by the end of this month, once I'm set, then it can be more shoved down people's throats, which will upset people even more. But no,
you're used to that.
That's my backing though, because like I say, social media is my job.
So that's what I was going to ask you. What made you do that? Were you thinking you would pull back for social media?
No. So social media just now is the best it's ever been for me. It's I'm working with some amazing brands, and I'm loving it. At one point I didn't love it, I kind of took a step back, but I'm back now. I love it, I love what I'm doing, and I think I maybe said this in the last one, I am not naive enough to think this is forever.
You did.
It could be, it could end tomorrow, it could end in 10 years time. I don't see it ending anytime soon because of the way it's going and the way TikTok's going and different social media platforms are going. I don't see it ending anytime soon, but in case it does, I have to have stability. And I think people on the platform that don't have that stability are being very naive. I think they're being silly not to have a backup plan, and saying, oh, I used to do this, but not still actively having your foot in it isn't good enough. So I've kept my career as a nurse. I will always keep my career as a nurse, and I've now got a business, and this business can just, aesthetics is massive.
Oh, I know.
And it's never not going to be massive.
Aye.
And I'm doing like, I don't just do aesthetics, I do facials and chemical peels and stuff like that now as well. So, or I'm learning to do that, and I just want that back in with a clientele where I can choose my hours, but if anything were to go wrong, I've still got this back in. My family's still provided for, and I didn't feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do in my life? I've still got it. And I think that's what people just see social media and think, oh, that's great, you've got that. Have you got it for life though? You can be cancelled, and you can say one bad thing and you're cancelled.
I know, that's the fear.
I've got the benefit of being very open, so I didn't really think people are shocked when I say stuff. But
in saying that as well, TikTok is much more accepting of people saying anything anyway than other platforms.
Good and bad though, because people are a lot more accepted to being absolute bullying little.
Aye, there's that side to it. Aye, there's definitely an increase. It's almost as if that in itself is a bit of a trend, but also a epidemic as well. Do you know what I mean?
I look at it as I think we actually spoke about this in the last one as well. I will never say I'm bullied, because I'm not bullied. I think if you allow yourself to be bullied, you will be bullied. And I don't allow myself to be bullied, hence the reason I clap back at stuff. And I'll do it in a witty, funny way, because I didn't class myself as a victim. There's people out there that say nasty things to me. Say what you want, you're entitled to say what you want. I'm also entitled to say what I want back to you. So don't be clapping back when I'm nipping at what you've said. But I will never say that I've been bullied, because I think if you've got the victim mentality, you're going to bring that on yourself.
If you feel bullied and therefore you are bullied, in my opinion, that's them one. Like, I feel like that's them. They've got what they want.
These people, right? These people that come on and actively try and bring me down, like, all I keep thinking to myself is, that's fine. You can think that. You're allowed to think that. But you are aware you're coming on my platform, you're engaging with my content. Brands, when they say to me, can you send me over your insights? Then they go, please send me over your content, as in your comment section. They go, how many people have commented? I'll say, this many people have commented, this many people have engaged, this many people have returned and commented again. That's all they look at. They didn't look at user 6524 saying, oh my God, you're this, you're that. You're not a good mum. They didn't look at that.
Scooby-Doo said that you shouldn't be eating that when you're
honestly,
pregnant or whatever.
Such a bad mum.
I know.
Your relationship's failing, is it? Like, these people, like, they don't I think they think they're doing, and obviously to some creators they will be doing something, they will be affecting their mental health, which is a shame. But for me, it's never been that. It's never been something that's upset me to a point I think badly about myself. Like, I look at these people and think, oh, and I've raised my son the same. Like, I say to Tyler, look at this person saying this, because they'll be like, oh, your son must be so proud of you, he's going to get bullied. And he comes on and he claps back with it as well now, and I'm like, too right. Like, these people will never define you. The people that matter are the people that actually have an active impact in your life, people that do things for you, who look after you and who you care about. If they were to say something to me, then fine. A faceless profile will never define my life and never make me change my life, ever.
No.
And I think more people need to
adopt that as well. I do remember you saying that the last time as well, but also remember you saying there's nothing that anybody can say to you that you've not beat yourself up about. It's exactly 10 times worse in the past. So,
as an overthinker, you always think the worst of yourself, and trust me, I've thought some horrible things about myself, but if I can pick myself up and continue with life, knowing that that's in my mind and that I'm thinking that myself, somebody that doesn't know me, that doesn't have any impact in my life, is never going to bring me down to a point that's going to affect me. It's never going to make me, they can try this all they want, it's never going to make me leave social media. It's never going to make me think, oh my God, maybe I should take a back step and maybe I should do that. Nah, keep it coming. I honestly do not care.
And as you've already said as well, the clapbacks, as sad as it is, and it's so annoying that it is, like, it gets you the views, it gets you the all those stats that I mean that's the ironic thing about it. These people don't realise they're actually helping to fill your pockets. Great, fabulous for you.
But they don't think
really,
I am.
if they thought, Well,
they don't think that. They genuinely, they see like videos up and they think that, like, if you Google how much an influencer makes,
it's a huge scale. It's
if the standard,
like from minimum to maximum, it's
if you
massive.
standard the Google one, right, and if these people want to think that's how the people that they're slagging on the internet are doing, then fine, you can think that. But I can guarantee you, the people, and I'm not just talking about me, the people that you're trying to take the piss at you on the internet, right, and try to say that they're this and that and they're no make, I can guarantee you wouldn't even be able to lace their boots with the amount of money these people are making.
No, 100%
and I look at them
and I know, because I speak to loads of them.
Aye.
And I did, it's funny you should say that, I saw something recently where an influencer was getting talked about in a newspaper, which happens all the time as well. The newspapers are all over social media.
You need to build your relationship with them. I'm lucky I've got a good relationship with them. Some people don't.
I know. And I saw like somebody in the comments of a newspaper article online, not TikTok, away from TikTok, and somebody had put, what does influencer even mean? And this other person random came in and said, oh, it basically means that it's another word for unemployed. I burst out laughing. I actually burst out laughing. I was like, oh my God, you've got absolutely no idea how much money these people are making.
No, and it's becoming that big now. Like when I first started doing it, try to find an accountant, right, that knew, because obviously you get a job doing like working offshore, or you get a job like traveling places, you got all these claimbacks and that. Try to find an accountant that knew what they were talking about was a nightmare, because
interesting. Is there accountants that look after specifically social media?
I'm assuming there will be. Mine isn't, but I'm assuming there will be ones. But in the future, I reckon there will be ones that are specific to it, because there's so many things that are different from your standard career. Because obviously we go to meetings like all over the country, we go to events in all different parts of the country. It's all part of your job, so there will, I reckon at some point that will be if not already, it will be a thing. Mine's is just standard, but try to find what you can. It's difficult.
It is a business, right? And I mean, I've got a business background, but all know that I've been in banking and I look after kids' accounts and whatever. So
look after
it's like, no, I don't, because it's bad enough dealing with my husband. And
mine's
the
are messy. I feel so bad. I'm just like, there you go.
But, so I do like QuickBooks and everything. So our accountant's actually got quite an easy job, if I do say so myself. But anyway, it's like any business. I don't think that's what I don't really think average Joe blogs, and I know, I'm not saying that in a degrading way, but I don't think your normal day-to-day person actually appreciates that it's the same. The tax man does not give one flying fuck where your money's coming from. He doesn't care. He just wants to make sure that every penny you're earning, he's getting his share of it. So it's, you have to run it.
Do you know what the problem is though? Do you know why I think people? See, I didn't go, I'm an influencer. I don't see myself as that. I create content. If people choose to be influenced by that, that's completely down to them. And that's why I try and be honest. But I think the reason people have such a bad perception of influencers is because there's ones out there that will do anything to have a pound in their pocket. And I watch certain content on the internet and I think to myself, why are you lying about how good that product is? I've tried it and it's rubbish. Why are you lying?
I couldn't do that. I couldn't say something was absolutely amazing.
People will be thinking, because people will say to me, oh, you advertised this skincare a couple of weeks ago, why are you advertising this one now? What people don't see is the back into all this. So when I get like offered a collaboration or a brand deal, I have the product sent to me. I try these products for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I try them for a substantial amount of time and I get a brief. If the product is poor, right, and it's not good, I won't advertise it, right? Nothing's going to work for everybody, right? And I understand that some stuff that I advertise might not work for certain people, but I can guarantee you, hand on heart, anything that I'm advertising, I've tried, I've used, and I've liked it. I will never go out there and advertise something just for I didn't need to, just for the penny. Do you know what I mean? I've got my free careers. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have to do it for whatever, for commission or whatever. I do it because I've tried it, I like it, and I agree with it, and I think people would enjoy using it. But there are content creators, influencers out there that will do anything, will advertise anything because it's income to them.
I do think you can tell, like as a consumer. I mean, I buy stuff off a TikTok shop. I buy stuff that people advertise, but I do think, like I do myself, scroll and see stuff, and I know straight away, no, I wouldn't buy that for you, because I feel like you just blag absolutely everything and anything. So I'm not getting that vibe of authenticity. So I do think that for a lot of people, you can pick up on that when somebody's just doing it.
Do you know, it can be hard though as well, because obviously when I use a product, you'll see my videos that are like the advertisements in the way that I speak in them, because you have to remember I'm getting a brief from a massive company. Like if L'Oreal send me a brief for something, I'm not going to be on like swearing and cursing, because you're not allowed, right? So people see that as being fake when it's not. I'm following a, like, I don't get a brief saying you have to say this, you have to say that about a product. I get a brief telling me, you know, you can't swear, you can't use provocative things, you can't have alcohol, blah blah blah. So I obviously have to speak politely and act that way. Whereas when they see my content, when I'm just like hearing a laugh about stuff, they see the two and they go, oh, but you know, why are you speaking like that? And they think that it's fake, and I can understand why they do. But you have to remember that this is a job for me. Like when I go into work as a nurse, I speak the way that I would in a video for a brand. I speak politely. I don't speak how I speak like speaking to you. I speak polite so people can understand me. I'm respectful, and it's the same with a brand. You have to be.
Oh no, I totally get that. It's like anybody in any walk of life. You wouldn't go into your work and speak to your boss the same way you speak to your pal out in the pub on a Friday night. It's exactly the same thing. Yeah, so
people feel
need
to see
to
that
understand that. How are you going to fit it all in though, Kerri? Like I'm still thinking 3 jobs and you've got a baby on the way. Like, how are you going to do that?
So the plan is social media literally works round me. I'm very blessed that I could go home just now and fire out the 4 videos that I'll need to do for next week in the space in an hour. I can be like, right, okay, because I'm no lying and I'm no scripted, I can just go out and do it, right? This is what I'm doing. So that social media's not the problem. That's never going to be the problem.
Because that can be done at any time.
Any
of the
point.
day
I could do it when the baby's
sleeping.
sleeping.
Do you sleep now? You struggled with your sleep?
I'm still quite bad. I'm still quite bad with the sleep. I'm more so with the baby.
That helps though with the social media content.
Never sleep. So I
can
literally do that whenever I want. I'm still nursing. I think with my aesthetics, it covers my hours for the nursing. So, and this might sound pathetic, but I'm going to do the one that makes me the most money.
It's not pathetic, it's a business.
I know people like to think, oh, money orientated, but like I've got a family I need to provide for, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got like a life to live in. I'm going to do the one that makes me the most money, so I will. And because I'm a prescriber as well, it's not just going and injecting faces, you know, I'm doing a lot more to it than just that. So I'll probably maybe do 3 days, like half days a week, maybe a wee bit less, and then stick to the nursing maybe once a month if need be, if I need to do a nursing shift. But my aesthetics covers my nursing hours completely. It covers all my CPD that I need for it. It covers everything. And because I'm
that's ideal then. So you're combining those two basically.
And because I'm prescribing as well, I can do that privately as well for other clinicians. So it's just trying to manage my time. This is my plan. When the baby comes, it could go completely different. But obviously Nathan.
But you're already thinking about how to
I
manage
need to think about it. Like obviously there'll be days Nathan needs to bond with the baby on his own as well. So there'll be days I'll be like, right, I'm going to go out for 4 hours and I'm going to work, and I can go out and I can do my aesthetics when he's up. But we won't know until the baby's here. But whatever one I can take away but still manage with the rest, I will.
You'll just
I'll make it
manage
work.
It.
I'm always very busy. That's the thing. Like I don't stop, and I think it benefits me. Like obviously, just when I was at uni, I was back at uni, I was doing that. I was doing my motorbike test. We were caring for my granny, so everything was just like I was opening the business. Everything was just 100 miles an hour. And then when my granny passed, and I passed my bike test, and I passed uni, it just felt static for a while, and I didn't enjoy that. I was like, oh, it makes your mind think. You got time to think about stuff, whereas I keep my mind occupied and busy. Don't have time to think about anything else. You just crack on.
I never asked you about your gran because I don't want to upset you.
No, but upset me.
Are you doing okay, or is it as okay as you can be?
So it's one of these weird ones. Like obviously you were saying about my Moses basket video.
Oh God!
I just didn't expect it. So with my granny obviously, I don't know if you kept up with social media, but she's not been well for a long time. She's been in and out of hospital and. She took really unwell in November, and we lost her. They told us she'd passed away in the ambulance. I was in Manchester, and then I got a phone call 20 minutes later saying she's alive, and I was, fuck. So I'm driving up to Manchester to get to her, thinking that it's going to happen, and they did. They thought she was going to pass there and then, but she didn't, and she fought it out until January. And I feel that entire process for me was just me grieving, even though she was alive. And when I look back on it, that's what I think I was doing, because since she's passed, and this sounds so bad because I'm no happy she's not here, but the relief that she wasn't in that state anymore. She wasn't relying on us for everything. She wasn't in pain. See the relief when she passed. I was devastated that my granny's not here, because she was a massive part of my life and Tyler's life, and I love her to bits and I miss her so much, but she's not in pain, and I feel like I dealt with all the grieving as it was happening. As we were caring for her. Like, if anybody's ever cared for a relative, because this was a big thing, they're acting as if she's the only person that's ever cared for a relative. These people clearly have never cared for a relative.
It's
because
brutal.
it's not nice. Like,
it's
I do care as a living. That was my job.
Aye.
Caring for your family members is so much different, because the frustration you've got, the anger you've got, the sadness that you've got when you're trying to do it is so much different from when you're doing it with somebody in the hospital. So I dealt with my entire grieving process through it, and then when my granny passed, my mum, bless her, obviously that's her mum, and I think she found it quite difficult afterwards, so I engrossed myself in trying to help plan a funeral, and obviously with my mum and that's helped, but that was my focus, like plan a funeral, make sure that's done well for her. And then after that it was like finish uni, so I've always had something, I don't think I've had time to think about it. And then that video with the Moses basket, it just, I don't know, it just set me.
It triggered you. You were triggered.
And I mean, I was so upset for the rest of the day. Like, every time I thought about it, I cried. But it was almost, I was crying because I was like, I feel like I've not properly grieved since she passed. But I was crying because I was upset and that she's not going to be here, because she told me the entire time, even when she was lying on her bloody deathbed, you need to think about having a baby soon, you're getting home. So that's all she says to me.
I just kept thinking about the message. So it was this Muslim that said, "You are my
It's
sunshine."
actually a swaddle.
Oh, was that a swaddle?
It's
right.
a swaddle, so I thought it was a Muslim, but it's a swaddle. But
right.
somebody commented on it, right? I can't remember the woman's name that commented, but she commented saying, your granny might not be here to sing the song, give your baby a cuddle, but you'll be able to wrap your baby and give your baby a hug.
I'm going to start
And
greeting,
honestly,
man.
see the wee things like that, I was just like, oh. But it did, like, it really took me, I'm not one of these creators that go on just wanting to cry for the sake of crying. Sometimes when I'm recording a video, it happens, right? You know, like, people start a video and they're just rolling and greeting, you're like, why are you starting your video like that? Like, I'll be talking about something and then it will trigger me, I'll get upset, and I didn't see why I should hide my emotions.
No, not
if it's
at all.
happening.
No,
And
not at
obviously
all.
when it happened and I seen it, I was like, it actually took my breath away.
That's how I felt watching it.
And
so I want to explain this. So your
Sorry.
granny used to sing "You Are My Sunshine" to
Tyler,
and you've
yeah.
got something in his room that's got that on
Yeah.
it. This baby basket came with a swaddle that had the words on it, "You Are My Sunshine."
Aye, so like she used to sing it to Tyler, that she used to call him her wee sunshine, that was it. And then she bought him this big plaque for his room with the lyrics to it, and it was constant. When my granny passed away, I wrote my wee card, my granny's fingerprint on it, saying "To my wee sunshine," and I wrote my wee card. Hadn't seen anything about it since. Hadn't heard the song since. Hadn't, apart from when we've listened to it ourselves. And then I bought this big Moses basket bundle, and the woman messaged me, doesn't know me, nothing to do with my social media, she didn't even know I had a following on social media. And she messaged me saying, oh, I've fired in just a couple of wee extra freebies for you, just as a thank you for buying the bundle. I went, great, thanks very much. And when it came and I was opening it, the last thing that I pulled out was this 2 wee swaddle blankets with the wee sunshine, and it was "You Are My Sunshine," and it took my breath away.
Oh, aye, you can
I
see
didn't
that.
believe in stuff
Aye,
like that.
No,
but you know what I
Kerri,
mean?
you need. I was just about to say, if people don't believe in a higher power, then I don't know a bigger and better sign than that. I'm getting
I'd love
goosebumps
her. I'd love her
even
to be
saying
sitting
that.
watching,
Aye.
but it's just never something I've believed. And this is why I believe live your life, enjoy your life, because I'm each to their own. But I've always been the type that you get one chance on this earth, and once you're away, you're away. That is it, right? There's no second chances, there's no watching down. I believe that when you're here, and you should care and love the people that are here, because that's the only time you're going to be with them. And obviously that's the outlook I've got, and that's why I'm the way that I am. But when there's been a couple of things happened, not so much with me.
Yeah, I think you need to rethink.
But then that was a bit like, wow.
I know, that was incredible. Right, final question, because we are over an hour
sorry.
now, but I just want to, no, not at all, don't apologise. I just want to ask what Tyler's reaction was to getting a wee sister.
So I think on the video you see him finding out it's a wee girl, and he was devastated. He was thinking, but when
Because he wanted a wee brother.
I know, he
Oh,
wanted a
God
wee
love
brother.
him. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I think he's just like, nah, I'm not a girl, come on, because he's got my wee niece. But he genuinely is really, really happy. He knew, like I said, I've got a really open relationship with Tyler. Some people probably didn't like that. They think that you should keep things back, but I've always been very open, and he knew we were going to be trying for a baby, and he knew that I was going to have one. So I've not shared any of this, but we did record everybody's reactions to finding out I was pregnant, but that's for me. That wasn't for social media, because obviously people were upset, people were happy. I've got Tyler's reaction, and he genuinely, it was him and Grace, we told Grace and Tyler at the same time, and they're both ecstatic, both really buzzing. So he's more happy he's getting the loft as a bedroom, to be fair, but
that's his biggest.
He's an angel, and he's going to be the best big brother.
He is, and that's why I'm asking, because I just think it sounds ideal, you know, their age gap. She's a wee girl and he's the big protective brother and whatever.
You've got the one, you've got the one.
Yeah.
See, I just...
But I'm the oldest to 6.
But it worries me because, and I actually put a post up about this, me and Tyler have been a wee team since he was born. More so the last 6 years, it has just been me and him. How can I love somebody the way that I love my son? I can't imagine somebody coming into this world, right? Because with Tyler, it's unconditional. That is it. I will kill for that boy, right? I will do anything for him. He can't do anything wrong in my eyes. How can you love somebody else that way? And I know it's going to happen, because it will. But
I remember reading something about it.
Really, it worries me that I'm not going to.
No, you will. It's just that I remember reading something, and it was something along the lines of, you don't ever feel that feeling again that you get with your first, because that's just normal. That's your first. But I think that's what worries you, that you're not going to feel like that again.
I had
but the love,
depression after Tyler.
Well, and you
that happiness, and then nothing against him, but worrying about everything else. Like, I don't want that again, so I'm hoping this one's a bit different.
I think it will be under the circumstances, and just life being completely different. I'm
Stable.
confident it will be
Stable.
And even though you don't want to believe it, your granny is looking after you and is here. Thank you so much, Kerri.
Thank you for having me again. Thank you for watching, but no, thank you for having me. I genuinely... We'll get a proper catch up.
I know, it's my privilege. I can't wait till the next time. Maybe I'll be a toddler.
2 years time. God.
We'll see you then.
I know.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you.